Hi, I'm Kelly Billing, and today I'm here with Rob and Charlie talking about the changes in traditional broadband. Hi guys, thanks for joining.
How you doing?
Hello.
So first of all, tell me, what is full fibre broadband and why are providers shifting to this?
I think first we better answer the other question, isn't it? Which is, what isn't full fibre broadband? Because when we go back in time and we think about the broadband that we used to have, and broadband signal was pushed down a copper wire all the way from the exchange, and those wires can be really, really long. And so the signal got weaker and weaker and weaker. So typically your broadband speed that got to the house wasn't very good. But at the time, it was manageable. You know, our needs weren't very particularly high. Needs have grown. People want faster broadband. So technology needs to change. So the broadband signal came to the exchanges via fibre, but they extended that fibre to the cabinets down your road. So that way the copper cable from those cabinets to your house was a lot shorter.
And these are the green cabinets that you see at the end of your street.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Got
it.
you.
Yeah. And so the copper cable was shorter, speeds went up, but there's still, because there's that copper link in there, the reliability was still pretty poor, which is when we've now started extending the full fibre cable to your home.
And how does copper versus fibre broadband compare, Charlie?
Well, so copper broadbands, you just couldn't get the speeds, you couldn't get the reliability that you can on a full fibre connection.
Many people are wondering, is full fibre broadband worth it? What do you guys think?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the only thing you should be looking for. And if you are shopping around, make sure you're looking for those keywords, which is FTTP or full fibre.
So changing tact a little bit, what does the landline switch off mean?
The landline switch off has been coming for a long time. The dates sort of moved around a bit, but currently the landline switch off is due to happen on the 31st of January 2027.
So what happens post the 31st of January? What's next?
But some people might think of it like, oh, that's the end of the world. You know, you're going to pick up your phone, it's going to go beep, and then that's it. It's all just switched off. But
Your provider will tell you, right?
yeah, 100%. Your provider will tell you, and then there'll be an alternative solution that they'll be able to offer. So for example, we at Toob were able to offer a service from Phonely, which is a voice over IP service or a VoIP service. And what that uses is it uses, instead of the older sort of copper connection going into your home, it uses the full fibre connection.
And the good thing is you can keep your phone number. I moved my parents from a fixed line onto a VoIP service. They could never remember the number. They've had it for donkey's years, could never remember it. And actually when they went to Phonely, they had the ability to select their new number. So there is a positive as well.
What is a digital landline?
So a digital landline is basically just going from that old copper service onto your full fibre service. Basically, it's much faster and more reliable.
Okay, and then tell me, how do you get the internet without a landline? For those that are, in that world where they believe that the internet and the landline are connected.
That's an interesting question. So you actually can get internet over a full fibre service, which has nothing to do with landlines. So landlines used copper, of course, and you can still get a broadband service over a copper connection. So even when the PSTN network gets switched off, you technically could still do that. I don't recommend it. But without the landline, when the landline is switched off, you can switch to full fibre.
Are the increasing needs for broadband due to lack of needed speeds or households needing to do more online?
Definitely need to do more. Yeah. Demand is growing exponentially. Gone are the days where you had one TV in each house. There's multiple TVs across the home. And so quite often you'll have mum and dad sat in the lounge with a big TV, and then you might have one of the children upstairs watching in their bedroom, or even on an iPad.
With rising always-on technology like Wi-Fi smart devices and speed for streaming to multiple devices, is today's tech keeping up with the usage?
If you've got a modern device, you're buying a modern device, hopefully it's going to have a Wi-Fi 7 chip in it, if it's, from hopefully this year. And so it's sort of keeping pace with technology, but it's making sure that everything else in your home is also upgraded to sort of match your new technology.
I think the biggest sort of Achilles heel here is people and behaviours and habit of not wanting to let go of that thing that still works, but they've had it for 5-7 years. And actually those older devices can slow the rest of your network down.
It's interesting because I suspect a lot of people probably wouldn't realise that having old devices connected to newer technology actually doesn't work in their benefit.
Yeah, we've seen some of our customers actually that they'll have devices that really aren't actually that old, or they don't seem that old to them. And even if you get a 900 megabit package from us, you're probably not going to see or be able to achieve those maximum speeds with that device, simply because whatever Wi-Fi chip is in that device isn't capable, or even the CPU in the device isn't capable of reaching those speeds. So the more modern your device, the more likely it is to be able to achieve those speeds, but you've got to make sure that everything in your home is able to also support that too. So your router or even the cabling that's connected to your computer.
So with today's average demand for online activities growing, how fast should wireless internet for the house be?
If you've ordered a 900 megabit service or a 2300 megabit service, you're probably going to want to be able to see those speeds on your device. So if you want to see those speeds over Wi-Fi, then you're going to need the latest technology. Not just your client device like your iPhone or whatever mobile handset you have, but also the router.
I'm kind of diving into the world a little bit here of coverage. Router placement is absolutely the bane of our life. It's very typically the power socket is just off the floor above the skirting board, so it's very easy for your router just to be plugged in and put your router down behind the couch, and that's absolutely the worst place for it. You need to get it up, lift it up, get it onto a side table, and let it shout across your home.
To be visible, basically. If it's got visibility, then by default, it can reach further.
Yeah, we've worked pretty hard with Linksys about how can we make the routers look good so people don't hide them.
I know certainly in my family, my parents are a great example. They didn't want to put another hole in their wall, so their router is in the back end of nowhere in the house. And lo and behold, they don't get the coverage they'd expect. Is that common?
All too common.
Yeah.
All too common.
Yeah, very common.
Yeah.
I think I remember once we had a customer who had their router next to a microwave. And you don't think it, but the microwave heavily interferes with Wi-Fi signal.
I mean, it makes sense when you stop for a second, I suppose.
So obviously just making sure it's not next to those appliances will really benefit and increase the range of your router and reliability too.
So basically the rule of thumb of this is if you can see it, it can see the house. People are commonly asking, what broadband speeds do I need to work from home? Or what speed broadband do I need for gaming?
I think the speed you need for both home working and gaming is pretty similar actually, because you want a reliable service, you want a reliable connection, and it's making sure that your connection can support all of these devices simultaneously. So whether it's home working or gaming, you really want a full fiber and a high speed connection.
And I think also we should add in that if you are in the market for your next broadband provider, look for providers like us who do symmetrical speeds, because there are a lot of providers out there that still have very slow upload speeds. And you think, well, why does upload matter? Well, again, if you have CCTV cameras like Ring or something, they're constantly updating live streams and snippets if there's been motion detected. Your phone backs up all your photos on your phone, they get uploaded into the cloud. So you wouldn't believe how much you rely on upload as well.
And when you say symmetrical speeds, you're meaning the download and the upload matching?
Exactly that, yeah. So with Toob, all of our services are matching. So you get home 900 and you get 900 meg down and you get 900 meg up. There's quite a lot of providers out there where you might get 900 down, but you might only get 150 up, for example. Has
broadband become the new home utility provider? Or is it a new home utility?
Absolutely. When the worst does happen and there's a digger out on the street and they've gone through cables and customers phone up and say that there's a problem, my internet's not working, it's like having a power cut.
And from our core network side of things, we try and make sure that everything is completely resilient, and if there was, for example, a power outage in the area, sort of our exchange, our POP sites, they've got battery backups. We've got people that can come out with generators if those battery backups do sort of run out of power. So we sort of acts almost like a utility in that we have the resilience and the reliability built into our core network to ensure that you always have a reliable service.
Broadband is now not just a functional requirement, it is a necessity.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That is everything for today. I appreciate you both coming along. Thank you so much.